Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. It's Paulie, Esther here, and today's Thursday, so we had a dev stream today, and I'm going to go ahead and break that down for you. So let's go. So as I told you last week, they told us there was going to be a community survey coming out for how we felt about the Winter Solstice event. They want your feedback. Here's a link on the screen as well as in the description. It's a short survey. There's only 4 questions involved. Please participate. This is how we make the community better, by giving them our feedback. They've had 15,000 people participate in it already. It's so short. It's only 4 questions. Please give them the feedback. This is going to be the way they're going to communicate with us in the future. They're going to roll out one of these surveys to us for the Jigsaw chapter in a week or 2 as well. So we should just get used to filling these kind of things out. As I said, it expires tomorrow, so please take advantage of this opportunity to have your voice heard and add to the discussion. As you can imagine, they talked about the release of the Saw chapter and how they tried their best to get this simultaneous release, and it didn't quite come off that way because the PS4 release was delayed because of maintenance issues, and they said that it's almost impossible to get the 3 platforms working in unison to have an exact simultaneous release. But in the future, they want to try and go within like a 36-hour window to do their very best to get the next chapters out to everybody in a timely fashion, which I think is acceptable. I think we can live with that. If New Zealand gets it a day before me, I'm okay with that. And if PS4 gets it a day after me, those folks should be okay with that too. I think it's reasonable, right? So, yeah, they talked about the Jigsaw chapter, how it seems to be very well received, and the word fun was used a lot, and I have to completely agree with that, that the new mechanics of the chapter, the new item to mess with, the new map, it is a lot of fun. The new killer, the new survivor, new perks. It's a fun chapter to play. They really hit it out of the park. It's a winner. It's a winner. And you could argue that they needed a winner after what the Freddy chapter has become, sadly. But this is great. It's superb. It's superb. It makes me very happy. I couldn't have imagined them doing this any better. And they reiterated that they are not going to touch any balance issues other than the things like the hatch spawning for the new map where it's covered by a wall. Those obvious things. They aren't going to mess around with any balance for the new chapter. They're going to wait, and maybe in a week or 2 we'll see another one of these surveys that we'll be able to sound off on how we feel about the new chapter, and then after they digest all that information and look at their statistics, then they'll make a decision about what to do with the pig, if anything. They may not end up doing anything. I know there are some people who feel like the Jigsaw boxes being visible, tipping off the survivors right away, is a detriment to them playing the pig. Do they need to go as far as putting Jigsaw boxes on every map? And then whether it's a trapper or the pig or the hillbilly, just to throw us off, and we don't know for sure. I don't know if they need to go that far. I mean, when they did put in the Huntress, one of the first things I wanted to do was like, well, I'm going to look in a locker and see if there's hatchets in here, so then I'll know if it's Huntress or not. But there were hatchets in all the lockers, no matter who the killer was, so that didn't help me at all. But these obvious Jigsaw boxes everywhere are a tip-off of who you're facing. Is it a big issue? I don't know. Can they do something about it? I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I know there are people who play the pig who are upset that the Jigsaw boxes give them away so easily, that it gets everybody's back up where they're looking behind them, and it makes it harder to sneak up on people if the word gets out, hey, it's Jigsaw, it's Jigsaw. So we'll see what happens with that. And people did ask them, they said, so have you guys just run out of original ideas? And no, of course they haven't run out of original ideas. It's just that when the opportunity is presented to you to take one of these characters and put it into your stable, rather than say, well, no, we kind of wanted to do original ideas and let maybe another property lock down that license. When you have the opportunity to get a license like this, you have to seize upon it. And that's the bottom line. I am very confident that we're going to see original killers in the future. I'm not of the opinion that they have run out of ideas by any means. And I hope that one day I will be reunited with Kate Denson. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but we can dream, right? But this isn't the end of original Killers. It isn't going to turn into a licensing machine. I always felt that Leatherface fell into their lap, and they almost said as much today. And I believe that they did want to get Freddy for Halloween because they kind of had that track record with Michael Myers, that they wanted to get a licensed product for Halloween. And maybe two of them were presented to them, and they just said, well, wow, we can get both of these. It's quite possible that they've been working on this Jigsaw chapter for quite some time. And when they were trying to get one property, maybe they were able to actually get both, but they didn't want to release both at once, and they held this Saw chapter back until now. Again, we have not seen the end of originality on DBD by any means, but I will argue to you that a licensed character brings brand new people to this game in a way that an original idea never will. And that's the bottom line. So if a licensed character brings new blood into the game and gets them interested in the other characters and lifts up the player base, we get more players in the game because of a licensed character, I don't think anyone should begrudge them for pursuing those opportunities, because it's good for all of us. Then they showed us these slides for bugs that are known and that some have been corrected in-house, such as this Nurse Blink swipe and stun, where she wipes her weapon and then gets fatigued. That's a bug that's not supposed to happen. That has been corrected internally and will be rolled out into the next patch. Apparently, her blink hits were not being counted on the daily rituals. That's been corrected. And there was this glitch where you could actually dead hard out of the exit with a reverse bear trap on your head and escape. That was never the intention, so that has been corrected. But it still exists on Xbox, so that needs to be fixed. And then other known issues. I showed you in my last video how they had some hatch placements on the new map where it was only half exposed and you couldn't actually escape from the hatch because it was covered by walls. That has been fixed, Matt Walker told us. These other issues, number of pallets in the preschool. Generator kick makes the pallet sound. We had that with Freddy, and now we have it with the pig, where she kicks the generator and it makes the pallet sound. I don't know how that happened again, other than the fact that it's pretty clear to me that the pig is a skin over Freddy's skeleton. I don't know how the sounds would be associated with that, but to pick up that same glitch, there must be some connection there, because Freddy came out with that glitch initially, and now the pig has it too. That should be an easy correct, I think. Hex Totem casts a shadow on the box. On the Jigsaw box? What does that even mean? I don't know what that one is. Maybe one of you guys knows what that is. Anyway, they know about these issues. And one other thing that they didn't put in here is, I guess there's a bug on the Huntress right now where when if she holds up her hatchet and then puts it away, she has an incredible slowdown there. And that's not supposed to be in there. They know about that. So be aware, Huntresses out there, when you're putting away your hatchets, you're putting yourself at a severe disadvantage in speed. That's a known bug and should be corrected shortly. And people complained about the deviousness score being given to the pig, that it's very low, and Stefan Horvath made a statement on DevStream saying that yes, they realize that these scores are too low and not in line with other killers, and I expect that they are going to adjust scoring accordingly, because those devious scores are really, really low for the pig. And what could be more devious than sneak attacking, hiding in the bushes and sneaking attacking? That's pretty devious to me. So I would expect you'll see some scoring changes in that element, and that'll be corrected in the future as well. And the next big thing they told us is going to be the PTB. Again, this is the public test build. It's good for PC only. And it's going to unveil the emblem scoring system, which is going to change the way that we all get pips and are ranked in the future in the games as killers and survivors. They're going to roll this test build out on Steam for people who wish to participate. Once that is unveiled, I'll let you know how to access it. You don't earn any points for it, so it's just testing to allow them to gather data to make sure that the emblem scoring system is going to work the way they anticipate it will. So they'll probably hold it out for about a week. Once it's unveiled, we haven't been given any date yet on when the PTB will begin, but that is, quote-unquote, the next big thing coming, which is going to entirely change the scoring of the game. So we'll have to see how that works out. Coming soon. And if anybody out there is a DCer, you better watch it, because they're starting to roll out. People are even earning 1 week bans, where they're getting close to being like system banned off the game for the amount of DCs. And the criteria for this is fairly high. Like they have a threshold of, if you are disconnecting from 35% of your games, which would be, 1/3 of your games, if you're disconnecting because you don't like the way the match is going, you are really risking your game. Like, you're in jeopardy of being kicked off the game. So just take your lumps. If you're trying to rank down, just run up to the killer and have them kill you or something. Just don't disconnect, because you're risking being kicked off of the game. DC bans are real. There are people who are working their way up to getting kicked out, so don't do it. And for further slides this week, they showed us the top survivors perks, top 5 perks for survivors and killers. But instead of just showing us rank 1s, what they did this time was use everyone compared to Prestige 3 level 50 characters. So they're pretty similar. You see that on average, the most used perks are Self-Care, Sprint Burst, Decisive Strike, Borrow Time, and Urban Evasion, while the Prestige 3 level 50 players use Self-Care, Sprint Burst, Borrow Times, Decisive Strike, and Iron Will. They favor Iron Will over Urban Evasion. And then for killers, everyone runs Hex Ruin, Barbecue and Chili, Nurse's Calling, Iron Grasp, and No One Escapes Death, while Prestige 3 level 50 killers run Barbecue and Chili, Hex Ruin, Nurse's Calling, Brutal Strength, and Enduring. So they're using the Brutal Strength and Enduring to get rid of pallets, while the average players use Iron Grasp to get people towards hooks, and No One Escapes Death for endgame. Anyway, interesting slides this week. I always knew that Barbecue and Chili was a very good perk that Leatherface brought to the game, so everybody should thank Leatherface for bringing that one in as killer mains. Barbecue and Chili especially would be a good perk to add to any Amanda Young the Pig build, I would imagine. And we met Kristen, the voice of Amanda Young the Pig, with the cute little "ah" when she gets hit by the pallets. That's her little pallet noise. She's the voice of the pig. And they brought in Matt Walker, part of Map Design team, for this week's guest presenter. And first thing he talked about was the brand new map. He said that the brand new map for the meat plant rivals the size of Haddonfield, but it's just like half of the map stacked on top of each other, because it's a 2-story map. So while the map seems very large, it's about the same size as Haddonfield. He actually referred to it as a small map. And he gave us a couple of tips. He said, if you see those doors that slide open, you can look for a generator on either side of the door. There's going to be a generator nearby, because people are apparently having trouble finding generators on this map. So those double sliding doors is a good indicator of a generator nearby. And as always, like you see in Badham and Haddonfield, there's flashing lights in some of the other areas. If they're flashing lights, it's a good indication that there's a generator there as well. And then he also noted that the fan base is very passionate, and everybody wanted to know where the heart was drawn in feces on the toilet tank, and he said that that has already been corrected and will roll out into the next patch. So we'll have our little poop heart on the toilet tank in the bathroom on the map in the future. Matthew Cote at the end said he trolled us with this golden toolbox thing. He says, oh, we have a question about golden toolboxes, but we run out of time. So it was a massive troll. I still have not found the golden toolbox on this map. It's driving me crazy. Ace needs to find his finger guns. He needs to know where his secret finger guns are inside of the golden toolbox. I don't know where it is. If you know where it is, please let me know, because I simply cannot find it on this map. I'm hoping that they didn't forget to add it. That would be really trolly if I'm looking for something that doesn't exist. But I'm going to hold out hope that it's there, and I just haven't found it yet. I'm looking up in ductwork, I'm looking in crates, I'm looking everywhere I can think of to look for it, but I simply can't find it. Have you found the golden toolbox? Let me know. So as Matt Walker got deeper into his panel here, he showed off an example map using this Grim Pantry here. Showed us the layout of your typical Grim Pantry map. Cursed Cabin, the Grim Pantry, Maze, and the Killer Shack. I never knew that was called the Cursed Cabin. Anyway, so then this is all to talk about the changes to pallets, where they made a change between minimum distances of pallets from 8 meters radius apart to 10 meters radius apart, so that pallets aren't spawning too close together. And this only affects what they call the procedural pallets. So in this before slide, you see here the blue dots represent pallets that are always there. Those are mandatory pallets on the map. The green ones are what they call the procedural pallets, which go through their RNG generator to decide if pallets are going to spawn or not there. So on this example in the before, you have one red where that one did not spawn, and all the green spawned. And then after they tweaked the tool, the change became this after shot, where this second red dot appeared. It only eliminated one pallet, in this example anyway, and the reason for that was because it failed against the rule that they instituted where they had to be 10 meters apart. So that pallet was eliminated. So looking at this example, it doesn't seem as severe as what we may have thought when they said, oh, they're going to mess with the minimums and maximum numbers of pallets available on a map, and mess with the distances that they can spawn together. We only lose one pallet on this map, so it isn't really a sky is falling thing. This, of course, could be tweaked in the future. They did mention that there are going to be a lot of changes in how they lay out maps. So in this next slide, you see a typical overhead shot of a tile with some scrap around and two pallets, one at the top, one at the bottom, where you would have your looping opportunities. And then they measured the distance around these areas of obstructions here. And they said that the sweet spot where they like to get this is at about 20 meters diameter around the garbage or scraps, whatever it is, boxes or debris. They said 20 meters seems to be a sweet spot that they're going to look for to try and put together and put pallets in between for the pallet looping. They feel like that is a good distance. It works well for killers and survivors, not too short, not too long. So we will see some more map tweaking in the future. They also talked about Totem Generation and working on that, and revisiting the rules for how totems spawn and trying to improve that, because I know it's probably happened to you as a survivor or a killer where you have a hex totem and it spawns right beside somebody when they load into the game, and then 10 seconds into the game, boom, it's gone. So they are going to revisit those rules. And they also mentioned that they changed the minimum distance that a hook can spawn to a basement. They've shortened it. So that helps killers a bit too, so that if you think, oh, I can't make it to the basement anymore because of these body blocks, that there'll be like a hook there to bail you out, that you can go for an exterior hook instead of a basement hook. So that was one change that has also been instituted into the map reworkings, and I expect lots more of that to come in the future. And then Matt Walker finished off his segment with the death rates on certain maps. So we started out with the safest map would be the Rotten Fields, at only 56% of survivors are dying on that map. As you can see, we go down through Pale Rose, Grim Pantry, Torment Creek at 58%. And then they get a little deadlier. We go into Gas Heaven at 59%. The Rancid Abattoir, 59%. Wrecker's Yard, 61%. A little deadlier still, Suffocation Pit is at 61%. Shelter Woods, which is my map that I like the least, is 62%. Down to Badham Preschool, 63%. That still remains a pretty deadly map. And then we're going to end it off with the deadliest two maps are the Treatment Theater, but I think most of those can be attributed to all of Monto's Scratchmere Michael Myers games. I love you, Monto. And The Game is the deadliest map at 78%. Only 22% of survivors are currently exiting that map. But understandably, it's because it is the newest map and we haven't gotten our bearings on that yet. So hopefully, I mean, I know that number is going to come down. How far it's going to come down, I don't know. But it is just a matter of learning your way around and using those tips that Matt Walker talked to us about recognizing where the generators are by the sliding doors and the flashing lights. So good luck out there, survivors. Make hay while you can, killers. Anyway, that's all I've got for you this week. Have a great day. We'll see you next time. Take care of one another. Bye-bye.